Hello again. So I'm just doing the kind of final stages of the tabletop before I can actually start fixing things in place and doing the final finish on this bar top. I forgot about this, but I had to cut through the holes for the pipe work to the taps through the top of the lid. So I've just been doing that today. It's been a little bit trickier than I'd hoped. So the hole cutter that I've got on my saw here is shit basically, and obviously goes through the wood fine and then got onto the metal top, and it was just trying to set fire to the whole thing. So that's probably something I want to avoid if possible, sending the whole thing up in flames before I've even finished it. But in the end I had to just get a cobalt drill bit on the hand drill and just kind of drill round the outline of the metal top, so that I could then lever that out with a screwdriver and finish the rest of it off with the hole saw again. So I'm just going to finish off that hole and then get on with finishing the tower, so varnish and paint going on that, and then fixing it in place hopefully. Yeah, so let's go. So I've cut those two holes there. Should be plenty of room for the pipe work, and obviously a little bit for air to circulate through to the tower as well. I've seen a lot of people's designs where they use a fan to help push the air through. I will see how it goes. I may end up fitting one afterwards, but I'm not going to do that just yet. But yeah, that aluminium foil there has just tidied it up a little bit. I mean, there's no kind of loose foam insulation kind of hanging out of the side there, so that's yeah, that's worked quite well. So doing a bit of varnishing, I'm using this stuff, Ronseal Ultra Tough Hard Glaze. So it's polyurethane. I've used this a bit before actually for one of my other hobbies, which is archery, and using that as a final finish on wooden arrows. There's a few of them up there actually. But anyway, if it can stand up to the rigours of being shot into a target, or more often getting shot into the ground with a bow and arrow, then it should be fairly good for a final protective finish on the bar. And it gives a really nice glossy finish as well. Obviously this is wet at the moment, but yeah, it should give a nice shiny smooth finish on the top. So we'll need 2 or 3 coats of that, I think. So it's going to take a little while to get that done, but yeah, I wanted to do that first before I do the top, so I don't end up smearing varnish all over the other stuff that's going to go in the middle. Right, time for a last coat of varnish on here. It's already looking pretty smooth and shiny, but I've given it a quick sanding down with some 800 grit sandpaper before I put the last coat on, so should be a really nice finish after that. That's looking really good already, to be honest, so let's get on with it. Right, so the varnishing is all done on here. It's looking really nice and shiny and smooth, as you can see, and I'm just about to stick down the extra plywood panel that's going to raise this centre area up. So plenty of wood glue on there, and as with the plywood that I used before as well, it isn't totally flat, so I'll have to weigh this down a bit, but it's quite a snug fit, so once it's in there and pressed flat, it should be okay. Okay, so next job before getting this tower secured on is getting this plug for the back fitted. So I've just cut this 12mm plywood I had left over from the top to fit that gap. Just gluing in a couple of offcuts as stoppers to hold it in. I'm going to use some little clasp fittings as well, so that I can lock it into place so it doesn't fall out when I open the lid and tilt that bit backwards. And I also need to get some more insulation on the inside of this. Obviously this is going to be open to the freezer through the gap there where all the beer lines are coming up, and I've got myself some radiator reflector foil. So this is foam backed silver foil, which should make pretty decent insulation for this. Picked that up cheap in Lidl, I think it was only £5 or something. Yeah, so I'm going to cut a few sheets of that, fill in the gaps with it as well, and then hopefully that will make a nice insulated box for the beer lines and the back of the taps. Right, so that's the back panel for the tower done. I was not really that fussed about making it look good, but it's actually come out quite neat and tidied, surprisingly. So got the catches at the top, and although I haven't put any on the bottom bit there, it's got enough pressure on there to hold it in place. So I actually need to grab this with both hands to get it out. So yeah, that panel just comes out there, and then we're all nicely insulated on the inside and the back of this panel here, and we just slot it in like that and give it a whack, and it's back in place. Job's a good one. Okay, a bit more work to do on the top here, so I've just done a quick bead of wood glue around the edge of that plywood sheet to seal the gap, and I'm going to do a quick cover of sealant over this plywood as well before I get to painting it and so on. Okay, so you might be wondering what the deal is with this kind of sparkly paint thing that I've got going on here. So a lot of people on builds like this will use tiles or some sort of laminate or just more wood to fill in the center of the bar top. So I wanted to do something a little bit different, and this is just going to be a background for beer mats. So my idea is to get a load of beer mats, and I'm going to glue them down over the top there, and also have a few on this panel at the back, and then seal that in with epoxy resin, so it's going to be an embedded bar top. So thank you very much to the people who've sent me bar mats to help with that. Hopefully I'll be getting a few of those on there fairly soon, but you'll have to wait till one of the later episodes of this for that, because it's not ready just yet. As you can see, I've been putting a little bit more glue around the edges to try and seal it up. So with the epoxy resin, you don't want it to be able to run through any gaps or get kind of soak into the bare wood. So I'm just making sure that all the places where there's a little gap is going to be nicely sealed up. But yeah, even without that epoxy top on it, I think it's looking nice. Right, so I decided to start working on some of the gas distribution setup before I put the tower on, so it will just make it easier while the lid's a bit lighter, and I don't have to pull it as far away from the wall to get into it. But as you can see, I've got my secondary regs installed now, and the gas bottle is now inside the Keezer. The final line there that's running back out of the Keezer is actually there to feed the kegerator over there. So I've only got the one gas bottle at the moment, and I'm not planning on getting a second one, to be honest. So I'm just running the gas through the 5 secondaries here, which will feed 5 kegs. So it looks like I'm probably only going to be able to get 5 in here with the gas bottle there. I was going to try and squeeze it into the little gap there, and the bottle does fit into the gap, but the regulator just is a little bit too big to go in between the 2 kegs there. So 5 is fine though, that's plenty. So I'll have 4 on tap and 1 conditioning in the corner. Those will be running off of these 5 regulators, and then the final regulator there is for yeah, for the kegerator over there. So the gas line goes back out of there and then over there through to the back here, and I've got enough gas line there so that I can pull the Keezer back and forth without that being an issue. And then one last line here which I can just use if I need a spare line just to purge stuff, or use it for when I'm doing bottling and stuff like that and I need to purge the bottles. So that's looking good. I need to give a really big shout out here to Robbie Williams. So Hop Shed on YouTube, Robbie Williams on the BrewTube Facebook group. A lot of you know him already, have met him at the various gatherings and stuff. I was lucky enough to meet him at the craft beer festival in London over the summer. Really top bloke and incredibly generous, because he helped me to source these regulators and a whole load of other stuff as well, which you'll be seeing as we go through the build. So some of you will know that he works in basically this industry, so fitting out beer dispensing systems, and he has helped out Harry Brew actually. So you may have seen him in the video where he went down to Retford and helped him rig up a far bigger system than what we have here. But again, just another example of yeah, what a top bloke he is. Very generous with both his time and resources, and many thanks to you. I've already sent him a couple of thank you gifts for this, and he'll be getting a few more in the future as well. So all the beers that are going on tap when this is finished, you'll be getting a set of those as well, Robbie. So cheers, mate. And he's actually up in Retford tonight at Harry's, so I hope you guys are all having a great time. And yeah, don't get too pissed. Cheers.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness, or Duder, or you know, El Duderino.